Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's T, and today we are going to be going through while loops. I think I promised this one for you in the last video. Okay, so what are while loops? Okay, while loops are used to execute a block of statements until the specified condition is true. Okay, we usually want to use a while loop when we are unsure about the number of times we want to execute the block of code it contains. Okay, here is an example of a code block of what a while loop looks like. Okay, and I'm going to go through that with you. You've got the while loop keyword, while keyword here, a boolean expression, and the statement we want to execute. So if we look at a simple flow diagram, say for example this was the execution path of our program, okay, and it gets to the while loop, okay, it's going to check a condition, okay, and if that condition is true, then it's going to execute the statement within the block of code, okay, and then it's going to come around again and check that condition again, okay, and then if it's true, it will execute the statement and then come around again, and it'll keep going around and keep going around until a scenario where it checks the condition and obviously it's false, and then when it's false it will come here and come out of the while loop, and then it will return to the main block of code that was executing after the while loop. Okay, so let me try and show you how to use a while loop with an example. Okay, so we have our banking app again. Okay, and our manager pops up. There he is, and he says, "Hey, that app you made in the last video was great, but we'd like to extend it now. So the user has a login feature that, so we basically want to give the user a login feature that when they open the app, okay, it prompts them for a PIN. When they provide their PIN, it checks their PIN to see if it's correct. If it's incorrect, it tells them to try their PIN again. However, if it's correct, it lets them log in. Can you do that? Well, let's see. Okay, so let's head over to Visual Studio. Okay, so what do we want to do? Okay, so first of all, we want, as this is obviously an example app, we want to make it as simple as possible. So in this scenario, we're just going to say basically the user's already got their PIN stored in the app. So we'll have a variable called user PIN, and that equals 2206. Let's go with that. Okay. Then you can even make that a constant, which means that it's another keyword to indicate that this value isn't going to change. Okay, so let's make it a constant. Okay, then let's go with a message to tell the user to enter their PIN. Console.writeLine, please enter your PIN number. Okay, so that's going to prompt them to enter their PIN number. Okay, and then we'll go for a variable that will store that PIN number the user entered. Okay, so we want to again pass that console.readline. This again is making sure it's not what you want to do in a production environment. It's just an example for you. Obviously the user could enter any value in here that could completely crash the program, but we're just gonna go with this for now. Okay, cool. So let's see how we write that loop. So that while loop. So we write the keyword while, okay, and IntelliSense will do it pretty much for us. Okay, so while it's got the brackets there, and then we enter the condition that we want to check. So what we want to check is while user PIN, yeah, so that's the user's PIN, not equals, okay, PIN, okay, we want to tell them message and tell them to enter their PIN again. So we'll just copy this out, and we'll tell them please enter PIN, like that. that pin was in. Actually, we warned them to say that that pin was incorrect, like this. That number. The pin you entered was incorrect. Please enter your pin number. Okay, and then that's so basically what's going to happen here. Okay, actually we'll do one more thing. We'll say um, great, you are logged in. Okay, cool. So basically what's happening in here is we're going to prompt the user to enter a pin. They'll enter their pin number, okay, and we'll store that in this variable, this integer variable. Then we're going to run the while loop and do a comparison here to see if the pin that they've entered is equal to if it's not equal to the value that we've stored in this constant variable here. If it's not equal to that, what it'll do is it'll come in here, it'll print out the message. Please enter the pin you've entered is incorrect, and please enter a new pin number. Or enter your pin number, sorry, and then it will store whatever they enter in and overwrite the pin value that they had before. Then it will come around again and check this condition again, and it will keep going around the loop as I explained until this condition is false. And when that condition is false would mean that the user pin does equal the pin number, and then it will break out of the loop once that condition is met, and it will execute this great you're logged in. Okay, so let's try that and see what happens. Okay, so it says please enter your pin number. So let's enter 2556. The pin you entered was incorrect. Please enter your pin number. So we'll try that again. 3456, sorry. And it will keep going on 1111 until we enter the right pin. In this scenario, 2006. And great, you are logged in. And there we go. Okay. Right. Okay. I want to show you something else that you need to look out for when using while loops, and that's the loop of death. Okay. I just termed that. I don't know if it's actually called that, but the loop of death is basically when you create a condition that will never be met by in this expression here. Okay. So let's say we made a loop that simply prints zeros. So that simply prints zeros n number of times. Okay, so let's just get rid of all this here. We can have a variable int pin, just int num actually equals 0. Okay. Actually, I need one of those. Actually, no, I'll do that. And then I'll do the console int entered number equals int dot pass, and then we'll do a console dot readline. Okay, cool. So essentially what we're doing is we're going to take in a number, okay, and we're going to do a comparison in the while loop, okay, to say if number is less than or equal to entered number, sorry, my mind went blank there, entered number, then I want you to print something. So that actually we'll just print num. Actually, let's print num, the value of num. Okay, and then we'll go num plus. Okay, so basically what this is going to do is going to whatever number we enter, it's going to print that number. It's going to compare it with the num, which at the start of the loop will be 0. Then it will print that, and then it will increment that, and then it will check the condition to see if it's still less than or equal to and the number that was entered in, and it will keep printing that. Okay, so this isn't the loop of death. This is just to show you what a loop is. show you how it is a while loop is supposed to work. So we'll enter number 5 and then run that. So okay, it's printed 0 through to 5, okay, which is what we expect. But say we didn't increment this, okay, and the reason why it stopped was because number 5 will increment by 1 up until the time. This num variable will increment each time we go into the loop, and then it'll get to a point where it equals the entered number, and then it'll crash out of the loop. Okay. It'll be greater than the number. And then it'll crash out of the loop. Okay. But if we don't increment that number, it's never going to fulfill the condition to come out of the loop. And what's going to happen when we do that? Let's have a look. So we have to enter the number first. Okay, so let's enter 10. And as you can see, it just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. Yeah, so that's pretty much the loop of death. Okay, so hopefully you liked the video, guys. If you did, smash the like button. Hopefully that made sense about how while loops work, and you got a bit of an understanding about how while loops work. If you were following along and you did the code for you wrote down the code that I wrote for the PIN app, for the bank app, to enter a PIN. See if you can extend that, to give the user a maximum amount of tries. So say they can only attempt a PIN number and get it wrong, say 3 times. And if they get it wrong 3 times, then it doesn't allow them to log in. See if you can do that by yourself, guys. Other than that, have a good day. And if you did do that, leave a comment below of how you did it. Otherwise, have a good day, guys, and see you in the next video.